Praise be Jesus and Mary.
Now and forever.
Great doctor of the Church, Saint Bernard, also a great lover of the Blessed Mother, once wrote that God gathered together all the waters and put them together and called it the seas, in Latin, Maria. God gathered all His grace together and put it together and called it Mary, Maria. Today we celebrate with great joy the feast of the most holy name of Mary. And this is a celebration of the name of God's masterpiece. She alone is the one who is full of grace. And as the Church teaches, she is our mother in the order of grace. The year 1830, the month of November, the Blessed Virgin Mary appeared to Saint Catherine of Labouré. In her vision, Saint Catherine describes Our Lady as having arms outstretched, her hands open, and on each of her fingers she had 3 rings. And from the rings emanated brilliant rays, but not from all of them. Saint Catherine of Labouré noticed this, and she asked Our Lady what these rays meant. And Our Lady responded by saying, "The rays which emanate from the rings symbolize the graces I shower on my children. And the rings which have no rays are those graces which nobody asks me for." She is the full of grace, and she is mother in the order of grace. Pope St. Paul VI tells us in the Creed of the People of God that this means, being mother in the order of grace, means that Our Lady cooperates in the birth and in the development of divine life in our souls. Birth and development. This is very important. The Catechism of the Catholic Church teaches us that there are essentially 2 types of graces. The first one is called sanctifying grace, that supernatural quality inherent in our souls that make us truly and really children of God. And there's actual grace. So while sanctifying grace is something stable in our souls, in fact we say we are in the state of grace, actual grace instead is transient. It's a transient supernatural quality that does 3 things. It either leads souls that are not in the state of grace to the state of grace. It protects sanctifying grace, and it increases sanctifying grace. So sanctifying grace is when we are born into the divine life. Our Lady gives us birth into the divine life in our souls. Actual grace is the development of this divine life in our souls. Each and every grace comes to us through the hands of Our Lady. When we pray for someone who is far away from the faith, we are praying for actual graces to lead that soul into sanctifying grace. Where does that come from? From Mary. Whenever we experience spiritual desolation and discouragement, whenever we are tempted, and whenever we overcome these things, where does that grace come from? Mary. Whenever we increase in some type of way in the life of grace, where does that grace come from? Mary. She is the full of grace, and she is the mother in the order of grace, and her name is Mary. Saint Zélie Martin, the mom of Saint Therese, recounts a very charming little story when Saint Therese was young, when she was a little child. When she was an infant, she would remain at the stairs, and she would just stay there. Then she would call out to her mom, saying, "Mama," and she would just stay there. And Saint Zélie, her mother, wrote, "She would not go forward or backward without me coming to her. It's as if this little child is completely dependent on me." This is exactly how, in our spiritual life, we should depend on Our Lady. Every single grace comes to us from her hands. Saint Maximilian would say that on this earth we really just work with one hand, because the other is grasping the hand of our mother. She is there, and there are graces. She lovingly complained to St. Catherine that there are graces that souls don't ask her for. And all we have to do is to have recourse to her by a simple invocation of her name, Mary. And that can have different meanings in different circumstances. We can have recourse interiorly, saying her name, Mary. And that can mean, "Mother, please help me." In other occasions, it can have a different meaning when we say Mary, an act of love towards her. In other circumstances, it can simply mean entrusting someone else to her, Mary. She knows what we need. St. John Paul II, when he was shot at St. Peter's Square, you remember that? When he was shot. And as he was being taken to the hospital, people around him were hearing him saying, "Maria, Sancta Maria, Maria." She knows what we need, and she always gives us the graces we need at the moment. Let us continue to invoke her most holy name. This is the most holy name of our Mother, who knows us personally and who wants to give us the graces that we need. Remember, when she communicates graces, it is not, she communicates them as a mother. What does that mean? That means that she is not like an unknown mailman who delivers random packages to random people. No. She is our mother who knows us individually, who knows us personally, and out of her own initiative, she intercedes for us. Let us have her name always in our minds and our hearts. The most holy name of Mary, the most holy name of our Mother. Praise be Jesus and Mary.
Amen.